we've already known for many, many years that the playing field is never the same. With women, there's only so far you can go up in your company. You may make it to a maybe a VP if you're lucky, or you may make it to a director type of role. But very rarely do you see a female being a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. You may see it, but you don't see it often enough. I also noticed, just being a serial entrepreneur myself, it is next to impossible for a female to get an investor to back them. Just the funding is not there. And that's the things that I saw that we needed a resolution for. And that's why I created Total Her.
Hello and welcome to the Best You interview series. It's Gary here again. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to join me. And today I am joined by entrepreneur, founder and transformative leader Robin Sims Allen, who is here to discuss her work on the TotalHER movement designed to elevate and empower women across the globe. With more than 2 decades in technology and business leadership, Robin thrives at the intersection of innovation, strategy, and impact. As a serial entrepreneur, Robin leads with precision and purpose, helping organizations optimize operations, eliminate bottlenecks, and deliver meaningful products to market with agility and efficiency. And Robin is also the creator and driving force behind TotalHER, like I mentioned, and that is a purpose-built social platform designed to elevate women everywhere. With TotalHER, Robin's mission is clear: to build a sisterhood and economy that supports every woman, whether she's scaling her career, leading with confidence, or embracing her own unique journey. Built as a safe, empowering space, TotalHER fosters authentic connection, collaboration, and an opportunity for women globally. Robin, I'm really, really looking forward to this conversation. Thank you very much for
Hey,
joining me today.
no problem. Thank you. Happy to
Um,
be here.
yeah, me too. You know, I try as much as I possibly can on the podcasts to really give a platform to elevate fantastic work that women are doing in the global workplace. And sometimes it's women entrepreneurs building businesses that do various different types and styles of things. And sometimes there is an intersection there where it's women doing things specifically for women, which is just gold dust. And it was such a great conversation we had prior to recording, when we got a chance to get to know each other and just talk about the platform, about the inspiration behind the platform, and what you're hoping to achieve. So prior to getting to that, I gave a wee bit of an overview of your career thus far, but tell me a wee bit about your journey that got to the spot where you said, you know what, I think we need TotalHER.
Okay. So it all really started from initially my first venture. I believe it was in 2007. So right around the time that my son was born. I just went over, I think it was just the being a new mom. And then it was also remembering the horrors of being a teen. So my very first project was Axe Geezer. And this was during the time where it was MySpace, little bit of Facebook, but you had to be a college person to be on Facebook. So it was
Yes.
very new. So I wanted to create an opportunity at that particular time for kids, a social platform for them, where it would pretty much develop the skills that they're going to need as they approach adulthood. So that was my niche back then. And it was similar, kind of like Total Her, where I wanted to focus on empowering the kids. And it was more of a gamified type of social platform that I was building. It was probably ahead of its time. So it didn't get off the ground. So it's actually on the back burner. I think I'm going to try to recreate that maybe 2028 and bring that back out, especially now that the rules have changed, as far as in what's acceptable for children, what's the acceptable age for social media, and all of that. Um, but that was what started me on the journey. And then just building my career and being in the different organizations that I worked with, I was either learning what not to do, or I was learning the things that I liked about those organizations. And I kind of continuously pivoted from industry to industry, almost doing the same thing. I'm able to spot out issues or see errors or gaps in processes and procedures. And I was the person that asks the question, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. And why is it so difficult? So, and that's kind of been what plays in my mind all the time is why are we doing things this way? And if we're doing it this way, what's the reason behind it? So I became the solution and come up with alternatives and different things of that nature, which fast forward 23 years later, here we are with Total Her. And we're even in the process now with Total Her where I'm getting ready to pivot Total Her again. Total Her initially was set up as a traditional social media platform, very intentional, community based for women, where they build their communities and then just so happen to be an economy for them, where they're able to make money if they're a consultant, a content creator, a podcaster, or whatever it is that they're doing. But my response now here in 2026 is I'm seeing women like myself being pushed out of corporate America in droves. We're either leaving voluntarily or involuntarily. Just like a full time project that I'm doing right now, in addition to building Total Her, I was just experiencing that in full process, being shoved out of the market. So, what we're going to do now with Total Her is it is going to be a future of work. So we're still using the premise that we were built on, which is our social media, our community, our intentional engagement. But now we're going to push the 50-50 economy portion to 100%. So now it is going to be an opportunity where women can now supplement or replace their income in its entirety. So whether they want to make a few $100 a month or 10 grand a month, they'll now be able to do that on the platform that we are building for them, customizing everything to assist them with best efforts, whether it is to create a course or whether it is to look for other opportunities for women, posting opportunities that you may have that you may be looking for women. So it's going to be a full engine just to continue to move women from the stage that we are now to the stage where we're going.
Wow, so much to unpack there. And I just want to go back briefly. So your reputation, your niche, if you like, was that the process person to say, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What are you hoping to achieve? And where are the gaps and
Yep.
such? How did that then, what was the linkage between that skill set, that vision that you have, or that ability to see things in a certain way, I should say, that you have, and the Total Her platform? Was there a major gap that you saw? Was there something being unserviced? How did that come about? Do you remember like that moment?
The moment is just ever since, I would say, post COVID. Um, like I said, I just noticed that women were either being harassed online, or they weren't participating online as they were before because maybe they've experienced an action or something that happened offline that impacted them. I also noticed what was going on in the labor market. They were either being hired and then there was some type of glass ceiling where they can no longer move up in their career, or they were being shoved out of the market altogether. And it could be because they were trying to raise families, or because now the problem is now is most of the corporations, they're trying to drive people back into the office
Yeah.
and trying to take away the freedom of working from anywhere, even though we've proven globally that it is possible for you to work and the businesses be successful being distributed across the world. But for whatever reason, they're feeling that need to pull you back into the office in this overly micromanaged type of environment. And women, they need their freedom. They're trying to raise their children. They're trying to do superhero type of things. And you can't do that if you're commuting to an office 2 and 3 hours out of the day. And then you have to come home and be the wife, be the mother, be a student if that's what you're doing, be the content creator, because 9 out of 10 times you're not making enough money from your main job to even support your lifestyle or your family. So now you have to do multiple things, and then it's just causing stress. So what women are doing is leaving, or they're being pushed out, or it's just timing. It could be a number of things. And I saw those gaps. So what I did was solution them. So wherever I saw a gap or an issue, I plugged in where TotalHER could fit. So,
Mhm.
in essence, my mission for TotalHER is I want to give women the freedom of time back. That's the end goal. Freedom of time. I want you to be able to do what you need to do to sustain your lifestyle, your independence, your family, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, but with the freedom of time. I don't think anyone should own your time, own your skill set, or own your content if that's what you have. I don't think people should be monopolizing that from you and then expect you to build their businesses or their dreams and expectations while you sacrifice yours. And that's what my mission is to give women their time back.
Incredible. You know, you mentioned a couple of times now, Robin, that women are being forced out, women are being pushed out, and sometimes voluntary, sometimes involuntary. What type and style of trends are you seeing explicitly with the involuntary pushing out? Is it the return to office? Is it a series of events, or is there something more blatant than that you're
It's
seeing?
blatant.
Really?
In general, we've already known for many, many years that the playing field is never the same. With women, there's only so far you can go up in your company. It's only so far. You may make it to a maybe a VP if you're lucky, or you may make it to a director type of role. But very rarely do you see a female being a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. You may see it, but you don't see it often enough. You don't see them in C suites. And if they are in C suites, there's no telling what they had to do to get there. And that's the types of things that I was noticing. I also noticed, just being a serial entrepreneur myself, it is next to impossible for a female to get an investor to back them. Just the funding is not there. For whatever reason, we've shown that women are able to drive those businesses forward. We're able to see where they're able to make more money than even the men. But guess where the funding goes? It goes to the men, not the women. And that's the things that I saw that we needed a resolution for, and that's why I created Total Her.
Yeah, and it's so observant what you're doing. Obviously, you're paying attention to everything that's happening around you. And just when you were explaining that there, I know in my experience in my career thus far, I have had what I now realise, and I never really took it for granted. But I most of my career I have worked for very strong, absolutely capable, brilliant women in my life. I came up, I grew up literally in a household full of women, with four sisters and my mum and my aunts and things like that. So my paradigm in terms of women, both in the workplace and in my life in general, is different. And I had to get educated on how the disparity is so clearly there. And where I live in Canada, there are a couple of organisations that are specifically set out to do similar things, to basically give an opportunity where it maybe doesn't exist, or to make sure that the playing field is indeed level. And from an investor perspective, there's an organization in Canada, I'm not sure if it's in America, that is all about women entrepreneurs and all about educating them and giving them access and exposure to seed funding and funding processes and opportunities as they go forward. And what I'm thinking now is that it's all kind of piecemeal. It's not some of these things are national, very much so, but there are so many other things that if there was a convergence of all of the wonderful work that's going out there that tackles specific issues, challenges, and problems that women in the workplace, or that women are leaving the workplace but still want an income or freedom or flexibility, that ability to have the machine work in a more cohesive way. I say that just as amusing. I have no idea how I would be able to do that, or how that would go. But it seems like there's a lot of catch up being played through by virtue of simple history that has happened, where men have dominated everything for the longest time. And it's so it's so fascinating and frustrating at the exact same time. As I say, my experience is I've learned the most from women in my life, absolute fact. And some of the things that I've learned from some key leaders that I've worked with who have been male have been not how to do something, or yeah, not how. It's not very great English, but how I would not do something in the future. Not everyone. I've worked for some fabulous male leaders as well, but most of it has been, I would never do that. I don't understand why that was a thing. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is that? That's not even professional. That's probably not even ethical. So there's that kind of bizarre scenario here, and I wonder. Just one last thought, and before we go back to Total Her, is like we're the generation that had no internet, and then internet, no smartphones, and then smartphones, no AI, and then AI, being forced to work in an office, and then having flexibility and freedom during the pandemic, not to need to do it, to prove it out, exactly like you said, Robin, that it works just as well, if not better. And then this forcing back to the office. So I wonder if we're the last generation that a physical workspace is going to be, it's not going to be the norm in the future. And it's just a generational thing.
I think, and that's the thing that I'm noticing too. Typically, the companies that are requiring um, the physical presence in an office, they're led by the older generation, the one that is about to retire,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that are trying to put it back. I guess that's the approach: put it back how it was. But what leaders should be learning now is it's never going to go back to what it was pre-COVID. But the strange thing is, I've actually been remote working before it was even cool to do so. I've been remote working 14 years out of my 23 years. So I knew it worked anyway
Yeah.
prior to, but I think now, I think it's just getting used to. Our leaders want to try to keep as much control or their finger on the pulse as much as they can, and I think that's the purpose of driving people back into the office, for the simple mechanism that back in the 1970s and 80s, that's how they micromanaged you, by watching you,
Yeah.
or seeing how long you're sitting at your desk. But when you look at the different studies and different things that are going on now, you realize that people are not even productive when they're in the office. If anything, you're doing more walking around or socializing than you are actually doing the work. So I think when the numbers, revenue, profit, um, getting new customers, all of those things, when they start seeing those numbers don't look anything like what they think they will be, they'll start going back to how it was when it was COVID, when everybody was making hand over fist almost. And and I think it's just this is the state where it's the show me state. They need to see
Mhm.
the numbers, because this trying to live back in the past, that's why we're so far behind on everything, even taking the consideration of AI and different things. There are companies that were pulling AI components or brainstorming AI 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're just now seeing it because they needed to get used to it. They needed to understand the power of it. They needed to realize that it's going to change, and it's going to change whether you want it to, or whether you don't want it to. I'm pretty sure back in the 80s when the first computer came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this is a trend. This will go away." So,
Yeah.
and now you see, you can't do anything without a computer, literally.
Yes.
So I think that's the same thing. It just needs to happen. I think we need to catch up with where we are.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, catching up where we are and going through the experience, going through the justification, going through the proving out of it is literally no better. And I'm not being an advocate here for 100% remote working, because there is such value in literally being in the same room as people for various things. But for your day-to-day work, you go into the office and then you sit on a series of Teams or Zoom meetings all
You can
day.
do that at home.
Why did you? Yeah, you could have done that without having to use the commute time and such. So back to TotalHER. So to explain it to a lay person, which is what I am, I have a wee bit of knowledge based on our previous chat. But what does the experience look like? What type and style of women would thrive in the space? And what success stories have you seen from TotalHER thus far?
So the initial MVP of Total Her, it was designed considering a consultant of some form. And I was considering those who did course material, or some type of consulting service, or some type of digital service provider. And what I found was the success was the non digital people are actually finding more success on Total Her. For instance, I have a hair designer. She has her own salon, and what she does on the platform is actually host circles where she's talking about different hair care products, how to do different activities with your hair, and treating your hair, coloring your hair, different things like that. And then I have another person who's actually physically a makeup artist, and she's giving tutorials on makeup and different things like that. And I was like, hey, that wasn't my initial use case, but great. So I'm seeing women be creative. There's even a mental health specialist on there, and she is giving people information that is hard to find if you Google it online, or if you're just not able to. Now with here in the U.S. with the insurance, the medical insurance being complete chaos, you
Hmm.
can't get to a doctor, you can't afford it, different things like that, and you still need information to maintain your mental stability. And she's actually doing that on the platform itself, outside of her medical practice where she sees patients and different things like that. So she's kind of supplementing for the women who can't get in to see her. She's seeing people all over the world versus everyone that's in Miami with her. So
Yeah.
so it actually opens the door for her to expand and to educate and different things of that nature. So I'm just seeing women just take the template and they're just running with it, which is why we're doing the revamp, because now we notice a lot more women are content creators. We notice that there's a lot of women who have courses or have attended courses that people offer online for whatever it is, digital marketing, you name it. And I thought if they were able to create those courses within the platform, or if they're able to host their webinars and their series or their events and different things of that nature while being on the platform, that would be a benefit. So that is what we're adding, is those components where they can do their live events or hosting their services, create their course material. Perhaps they have a lot of content that is spread all over social media and various platforms, being able to pull that information into Total Her and then repurpose that information, or have my AI tell you what new content you need to create that's going to enhance your business or make you go viral or make you earn more money. That those are the things that you'll see coming out in the future version of Total Her.
Amazing. So one key part that you mentioned, I think I mentioned it in the bio as well, is it's a social network too. You know, the ability to have women in a safe social space to be able to converse, to dialogue, to debate, to support, to
Yep.
champion, and such like that. So if there's a woman out there who's saying, I really love the idea of a community like that. However, I don't have a product. I don't have anything I really want to sell. I'm just looking for some community. Is there a facility for that too?
Yes. So you're going to be there. But here's the part that is so intentional about Total Her. You're going to see so many things from so many different types of women. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to be inspired. And at the end of the day, you're going to create something because either A, you've had a conversation with another woman and she is just giving you an idea because she's had a conversation with you and she's able to see that hidden talent that you may have either A, been scared to do, or B, never thought of doing, and she just gave you that idea and you're going to be inspired. So it's going to actually be kind of like a built-in motivation tool because you're going to be exposed to all kinds. There will be at some point there will be all types of women on that platform. So whether or not they're C suites, they could be seven, eight, nine figure earning individuals on there, and you just being in the room will change your entire trajectory. And that's the purpose. That's why I'm saying that it's very intentional. It's very focused because if you're not there, you're probably going to get there. And that's why I'm building it.
Yeah. And then, so in terms of someone sitting there saying, I'm interested, I want to find out a wee bit more about it. I just don't know if I should reach out. Is it the right fit for me? Am I the right fit for it? You know, like all those sorts of things.
I
Are
thought of that too.
how,
So
how does that go?
So that's another part of the component that we're designing right now. So now before you commit to joining Total Her, you can literally preview it. You can see everything that's on the platform. You'll be able to see what type of women are there, what they're doing, what they're talking about, what is happening before you even create an account. And when you do create an account, it'll take you less than 30 seconds to do so. So that's the component because I had a lot of women like, well, hey, I want to see what's happening, but not join yet. I don't want to jump there yet. So that's why we're doing a whole preview stage where you can see everything before you actually join.
That's incredible, and not many platforms are doing that. You know, you'll get a very limited sneak a peek or the best bits or something like that, and then
Yeah,
you join, and then afterwards you're kind of like, oh, I don't really know. So in terms of investment, obviously there's going to be a financial commitment that someone would have to put up, depending possibly on the tier of membership or something. I'm not sure how it's
it is.
structured. So, and what I'm talking about more so is the investment of someone's time, effort, and energy. Is there the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it type of life philosophy that you have? Or you could go there and be a passive voyeur, for example, for a period of time until you get your legs beneath you to say, right, actually, you know what, this is inspiring. I did have this idea. I wonder if I could run it past someone. What does that investment of time, effort, and energy look like, Robin?
So it is tiered, the way that you're describing it. So there's a tiered where it's completely free. And again, you can participate, you can see what's happening and not actually join. And you'll be able to do those things and still experiment just like you would on your traditional social media platforms where you have the free version. But when you are ready to unpack and fully commit to this being your future work or your supplemental income, then you would join the subscription and then set it up the way that you want to, depending on what path you chose when you created your account. Whether or not you're joining as a consultant, whether you're joining as a freelancer, whether you're joining as a gig worker, or whether you're joining as a content creator. So, whatever path, because we're customizing those paths for whichever journey you select. If you're just there just to view, we're going to take you through the journey just to view. So it just depends on what journey you select and what screens you see next and different things of that nature. Even the first thing that we do is actually, what is your intention? Like, why are you on the platform? Are you here just to view and participate, or are you here to earn? Are you here to scale your current business? Have you already built a business and you're just looking for supplemental income? We're asking you those questions so that we can tailor the experience just for you, so that you can see what you need to see and what you find of value as fast as possible. This is not your traditional social media platform where everybody has the same thing. You have the same set of tools, and this is what it is, and that's that. So, in the version that we're building of Total Her, it's customized depending on the journey that you select. And I wanted that to remain intentional as well, because I wanted you to get the value that you need as fast as possible without wasting time. Because again, my goal is to give you freedom of time.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned the support structure in place there. All too often, if ever I'm subscribing to something new, that no one through the user experience seems to have accommodated for someone who's absolutely brand new. So I imagine some women out there saying, do you know what? I haven't even been on social media. I have an account and I'll go look every now and again. I'm so busy with my life, with my family, with whatever I have going on. And so social media is a wee bit scary. I have an idea, but I'm really like I've no idea what to do and such like that. And no one, as I said, from a user experience seems to to accommodate the various personas, one of which would be an absolute novice, a complete beginner. So through your explanation there, I was going to go there with my next question to say, what type and style of support would you provide to people who are tentative, who are going through their journey, who have tried and it hasn't succeeded on the first, second, third iteration, who are ready to scale and things like that. So I'm so glad that, and I hope that the listeners and viewers got an opportunity to say, you know what, that is a safe space. That is something that's going to be supportive. So one, I did ask you about some success stories earlier, Robin. What have you seen women's main blockers or challenges being with respect to TotalHER, or even the concept of expanding their opportunities through a platform like TotalHER?
So I found, and that's what actually led to us revamping or redesigning it the way that we are now, is because I found, just by talking to women, they didn't understand what Total Her was. They weren't aware of that opportunity. And the version that's available in the app stores right now, it looks and feels just like other social media platforms. So that is the reason why we're getting ready to revamp it, so that it doesn't look and feel like other social platforms. In fact, our whole demeanor, where we were just in the social media slash fintech industry, we're now AI social media platforms. So it's literally going to be customized just for the fact that I'm listening to what women are saying. I'm listening to their feedback. Every feature that we're designing right now, it came directly from women. And asking women all the time, what do you need to see on a platform? What's going to make this different from your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your LinkedIns? What do you like about Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn? And I listened to what they said, and I designed a feature to match exactly that. So that's what we're going to continue to do. Even 5 years from now, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep asking women what they need. What do they need to be successful? Because at the end of the day, I want Total Her to be your option in case you can no longer work outside of your home anymore, or you are no longer able to be in the workplace for whatever reason, for whatever reason you have. I want that to be your backup plan or your golden parachute, or whatever, however you want to think of it. I want the first thing to come to mind is, I've got somewhere else to go.
Yes, yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I can tell I can feel the passion and the energy and the enthusiasm there, and that ability to shape the future. You know, for someone to say, I'm not sure if I should mention or not, I like this, but what I really wanted was that. And then for that feature to become available at some point down the road, and that direct correlation that you're building something together, I'm sure would be inspirational. I know I would be inspired by something like that if I had a direct influence on it. Absolutely incredible work that you're doing. So, Robin, as you know, this is called the Best You podcast. And what I like to ask everyone who comes on is, what's one regular practice that Robin employs to give you the best opportunity to be your best self each and every day?
I'm glad you said that because the first thing that comes to mind is reinvention. It's reimagining. Me, the one thing that I like about myself is I am the queen of pivot, the queen of reinvention, the queen of I'm going to change my mind 10 minutes from now. And when I do, I'm going to have a whole nother strategy. So I think that's my one thing that I do just over and over and over is how can I do this better, faster, efficient? How can I do this differently? What strategy would I approach this way? If I'm looking at a problem this way, can I solve it six different ways? Or am I stuck in the one path forward? And that's just always been me. I'm the one that's going to be, no, I'm not going to solve it this way because that's how it was done before. Let's do something else and let's do something else. And when that doesn't work, change it, something else. So it's almost kind of like I'm a professional learner. So I'm always observing, I'm always switching strategies or switching the mission, but it still remains the same at the end of the day. I'm going in the same direction. I'm just probably going to go a different way. Versus going A to Z, I'm probably going to go A to L and then back to A and then over to M and then so on and so forth. So it just
Yeah.
depends, but I'm still going in the same direction and it's still going to be the same end goal.
You know what I was thinking there when you were saying that, Robin, and I feel a lot of me and my philosophy, my life philosophy, it resonates absolutely with what you're saying. And the phrase I had in my mind was, "I'm doing the thinking for you." You know, so you know that if I'm working with you, we don't just have an interaction for an hour and then I go away and I don't think anything of it. I'm going to be thinking about the conversation. I'm going to be thinking about the tone and the content. I'm going to be thinking about how things ended. I'm going to be thinking about the energy that was created and the enthusiasm that was or wasn't present. And all of that ruminates to a point where I say, you know what? Actually, yes, we talked about this topic. I think really what we were talking about is that topic. And it's that constancy of evaluating and re-evaluating and questioning and thinking. And I think it's very natural for some people. It sounds like absolutely it is for you. And for other people, it's an event that they can create to create some space and time to be able to do that. And for other people, it's just an object, or it's not a concept that they have within them. They're doing their thing. So, and there's nothing wrong with any of the three of those. If that's your lane and that's your lane. But I'm doing, like Robin and team are doing the thinking for you. You need to just provide your presence, your input, your energy and your craft, and we can take care of the rest. So if that's your new marketing ploy, you're very welcome. You can keep it, and that's a gift from me. Robin, this has been electric. Before I let you go, where can people find out more about you and more about TotalHER?
So TotalHER, the website is totalher.co. So that's CO. Me, you can find me on all of your traditional platforms. I'm on LinkedIn. So you would just spell out my name, Robin Sims Allen, and I will come up. I'm on Instagram. It's R Sims Allen. And I think I'm on Facebook the same way, R Sims Allen. And you can just find me. And 9 out of 10 times, if you're sending me a message, I'm going to respond.
I love it. I love it. Robin, as I say, this has been a fantastic conversation. I'm so glad we finally got the chance to get together to talk about this, to talk about the incredible work that you're doing and to talk about your vision for the future. All the very, very best, and thanks a million for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hello again. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode, and I do hope that you found it valuable and gained some insights. I do have an ask for you. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would absolutely love it if you would connect with me on my socials, and that's at LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search for my name and do whatever it is you need to do there to follow me and stay updated with all the latest content, tips, and discussions. And for any more resources that you're looking for, feel free to visit my website, garygillen.com. And while you're there, you can book a free, no obligation 30-minute coaching call directly with me through the site. Whether you're looking to enhance your performance or tackle a new challenge, I'm absolutely here to help you succeed, and I would absolutely love to hear from you. Thanks very much again, and until next time, keep pushing towards your goals and getting better each and every day, my friend.